Last year, I sat down with a director level executive who thought he'd already won. 15-year career, significant equity, the stock had grown year after year. Then it dropped 47% in 6 months. His net worth fell by 1.8 million because 58% of everything he had was in one place. He had been meaning to do something about it for 3 years. The thing that stopped him every time was the same thing that stops most executives. If I sell, I'll owe a huge capital gains bill, so I'll wait. Here's what I want you to understand about that logic. The tax bill isn't the cost of diversifying, it's the cost of waiting. I'm Aaron Klemm, founder of Inflection Point Wealth Management. Today, we're talking about one of the most common and most expensive problems I see with executives: concentrated stock. Let's name what's actually happening. Most executives don't hold concentrated stock because they analyzed it and decided it was the optimal allocation. They hold it because the stock is tied to their identity. It's the company they built something at, the equity that changed their financial life. Selling feels like a betrayal, and that feeling is the villain. Your employer is already your source of income, your career trajectory, your professional reputation. When your net worth is concentrated there too, you don't have diversified risk. You have the same risk in multiple places. And here's the agitation behind that. Every year you hold a concentrated position, you're making an active bet that this one company will outperform a diversified portfolio by enough to justify the risk. That bet isn't always wrong, but when it is wrong, the people who waited the longest lose the most. The goal isn't to abandon the stock. The goal is to make sure one bad quarter, one sector rotation, one missed earnings can't undo everything you've built. The simplest approach is often still the best. Sell on a disciplined schedule over 6 to 36 months. Consistent, gradual, moving the position back toward a target allocation. Before introducing this strategy, one question worth sitting with. If this position dropped 40% tomorrow, what does that do to your retirement? If you've already hit the number where your financial plan works, if you're already fully funded, are you certain you want that level of concentration risk? That reframe changes how most executives think about the decision. For executives subject to blackout windows or trading restrictions, a 10b5-1 plan allows a selling schedule to be set in advance and executed automatically during restricted periods. If shares were accumulated across multiple vesting dates, common with equity comp, lot selection matters significantly. Selling the highest basis lots first reduces realized gains while still reducing concentration. Your brokerage tracks the cost basis of each lot. When placing a sell order, you can specify which lots to sell instead of defaulting to first in, first out. That one decision can change the tax outcome meaningfully on the same numbers of shares sold. For executives approaching retirement with a meaningful income reduction coming, there's an additional layer. Save the low basis lots for years when the tax brackets are wider or lower. The gains will be the same. The rate you pay on it doesn't have to be. Instead of asking, how do I get out, ask, how much gain can I afford to realize each year without blowing up the tax picture? Decide on an annual tax budget for the unwind. Work backwards. Given your bracket, your filing status, your income, how many shares can you sell each year within that budget? Coordinate the sales around federal taxes, net investment income tax exposure, state taxes, IRMA thresholds, charitable deductions, and lower income years. This turns diversification into a multi-year tax management plan rather than a single costly event. It also removes the paralysis. Instead of one big uncomfortable decision, there are a series of smaller planned ones. If charitable giving is part of the plan, gifting appreciated stock directly rather than cash is one of the most efficient tax moves available. Here's an example. $100,000 position with a $10,000 cost basis. Sell first, donate cash, capital gains tax on $90,000 gain at 20%, plus 3.8% net investment income tax equals over $21,000 in federal taxes. Donate the shares directly to a donor-advised fund, zero capital gains tax, and a deduction for the full $100,000 fair market value. Same charitable intent, same dollar amount, over $21,000 in tax difference from one decision about how the contribution is structured. A donor-advised fund allows the deduction to happen in the year of contribution, with grants distributed to charities over time. For executives with a meaningful concentrated position and existing charitable intent, This is one of the cleanest available moves. Here's the consolidated cost of waiting. An executive who holds a $3 million concentrated position for 3 additional years instead of executing a systematic unwind faces ongoing concentration risk on a position that has already proven it can drop 40 to 50%, forfeited long-term capital gains rates if they eventually sell in a panic, and foregone diversification in a market that doesn't pause for anyone. The executive I described at the opening, his $1.8 million loss wasn't a market failure. It was the compounded cost of 3 years of delay. The tax bill he was avoiding by waiting would have been smaller than the loss he absorbed by not acting. If more than 20% of your net worth is sitting in a single stock and you've been waiting for the right time to do something about it, the strategies I described don't require a single massive sale and a massive tax bill. They require a plan, and every year you wait without one is a year of unnecessary concentration risk that is entirely within your control to reduce. This channel is built for high-earning professionals and executives, delivering content on navigating complex financial decisions, equity compensation, tax strategy, retirement planning, and concentrated wealth. If these topics are valuable to you, be sure to subscribe so that you get more free content. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.